There is nothing more beautiful than to see someone living their purpose. That beauty comes from inside. It shines from inside. It exudes like a perfume, and it's intoxicating in the most beautiful ways. You become more charismatic. You become more alive. You become more influential. You make more connections. So when you step into your purpose, when I stepped into my purpose, it was from night to day. The way the world responded to me was so different.
Hi, my name is Zenka. I'm founder of LightNet, and my passion and purpose is to make the impossible possible. I am here today with Raquel Spring. She is a 4th generation astrologer, and she always taught me that the North Node is where your purpose lies. So if you don't know what it is, look it up. Your South Node is where your comfort zone is. So bring on the courage, because the mountain is in your North Node. She does incredible readings, and she's also a global speaker that is an ambassador for Gaia consciousness. Raquel is the founder of the Bhutan Quantum Technologies and also the Sovereign Leadership for Women. She resides here in Sedona. Welcome, Raquel.
My purpose is astrology. And my purpose is actually helping other people find their purpose through astrology. This is the interesting thing. It was through astrology that I discovered that astrology was my purpose. At the time, I didn't know. I knew the path that I had to be heading toward. I had different tools, I had different options to be on that path, and astrology just happened to be the tool that I had at the moment to follow my path, to follow my purpose. And so I used astrology at the time as a tool to begin my purpose. And the more I used astrology, and the more that I saw the results of being able to help other people understand who they are and why they are here, their purpose from the eyes of the soul, from an evolutionary perspective, from the point that really matters at the end of the day. And when I found out that I could help other people access that truth about themselves through astrology, I said, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to use this as my tool to serve. So the more that I started to use astrology as a tool to serve, the more that I saw the results, and I noticed that this is my purpose. This is my path. I could see the results. The more I would study my charts and look at the connections in my charts with astrology, seeing how that is not only coming from my lineage, we come from a lineage of astrologers, but also as a past life connection, if you will. I was really certain that this is what I was supposed to do here and continue carrying this legacy forward. I discovered I was a 4th generation astrologer, and this gave me the confidence to really take this seriously. Because at the time when I learned astrology, I didn't learn it with the intention of becoming an astrologer. To me, it was one more tool that I was interested in to access deeper wisdom about myself. And I was just submerged into many different systems for many years, over a decade of studying very deeply different systems to understand human personality, human behavior. And when I came into astrology, it was such a powerful, life-changing experience for me. And right after that, I found out I was a 4th generation astrologer. My father remembered to tell me. So, and he didn't tell me before because I was born and raised in a cult, and that information was not revealed to me in there. So after I left the cult at the age of 27, and I came into astrology, and my father said, oh yeah, it runs in our lineage. And it was really interesting because I felt such a deep sense of responsibility with using astrology for much more than just to know myself, but to use it to also help other people know about themselves. And this was the first time that I felt this conviction with a system before. I never felt that with any other system where I was compelled to use it to help other people. So the moment that I had that aha feeling, and it wasn't just an aha of being excited and surprised, it was a deep, impactful, sobering punch in the gut. An energetic punch in the gut, literally, because it was that sense of responsibility with why I was here. And I remember that moment. I remember that moment because it was a moment that I was learning about the lunar nodes in astrology. And the lunar nodes, I always say, is my secret in astrology, because the lunar nodes is what reveals at the end of the day what's the point of everything. Why? Where is it all going? And there are many components in astrology, and when I got to the lunar nodes and I started to understand and finally understand the essence of that chart that I was looking at, and from that point start to connect the dots and put everything together, I was in a state of shock for at least 3 days. I cried. I said anything else but that. And this is the interesting thing. In astrology, we see through people's charts that their purpose, their destiny, is 95% of the times something that most people resist. Yep. This is my main function in the work that I do through the school that I have and the sessions that I give, is to help people understand what really matters. And this is the punch in the gut that I was talking about, that sense of responsibility, because deep inside, you know. And the punch in the gut comes from also knowing that you've been running away from it. You've been underestimating it, you've been pushing it away, when it's the one thing that you should be making it a priority in your life. Because your life won't happen. It won't work. You won't find satisfaction if you're not following your north node, your north star, your purpose. And this is not the purpose of the mind. This is the purpose of the soul, and the true purpose and the true reason why you're here. This has to do with your evolution. So when I realized that through my chart, I was in shock, and I said, no, anything but that. And that's pretty much the reaction I get from most people when I work with their charts, and they also have that same reaction. But once we start to first come to terms with this is why we're here, and following that, we start to see immediate results. And this is when you know. This is when you know that this is beyond your desires. This is your path. In astrology, we have, through the lunar nodes, we see one aspect of your masteries, the trajectories and the themes that you have already experienced. And in this lifetime, in order to complete that, you have to experience the other aspect, the other polarity. So the lunar nodes, they come with this 180-degree polarity, where the south node shows us where we're coming from, and the north node shows what we are here for. Now, what we are here for is not necessarily based on what you've been doing before. As a matter of fact, that's the point of it all. You need to have new experiences. Now, yes, sure, there are some things that you are wrapping up from, past lives or other experiences, but for the most part, you're completing them. And so in this lifetime, you're here to chart a new path. And your soul is not even really concerned with how comfortable you are, or if you live here, or if you marry there, as much as it is concerned about your evolution. So the lunar nodes, they dictate your purpose through the eyes of the soul. And that is an evolutionary perspective. So the reason why people resist that for the most part, it's because it's uncharted territory. It's that fear of the unknown. There is no familiar sense of that path. So deep inside, there is a deep knowing. For example, just yesterday I was sitting with this woman who had a purpose with Leo. This is to embrace the solar aspect of her identity. These people are very creative. These people have to be on either stage or in a place where they can receive attention and recognition as well. But because this is their path of evolution, most of them run away from it. So this woman that I was with, she said, when I was a young child, I had this impression that I was born to be famous. And it never happened. And she actually gave up on her dreams when she was very young. She was a musician, an artist, and that was her path. And I said, well, the reason why you were born with that knowing is because that was your destiny. That is still your destiny. So we're all born with that sense of that inner knowing, but then we deny it because it's uncharted territory. So that's the whole beauty of astrology, is it helps you see what your south and north node are, and then it gives you the roadmap to how to get there, how to follow it. But you need focus, you need commitment, you need dedication. And the more you focus on your north node, the more it becomes your power. Even though there is no sense of familiarity and no experience from the soul, it's designed to be your greatest expression of power in this lifetime. So all you have to do is focus there and follow that, no matter how you feel. It's that level of persistence. And when you do that, when you have that commitment and dedication to your purpose, regardless of how you feel, your purpose starts to open up to you, respond to you. It's a dance. My greatest challenge in following my purpose, I would say, it was the fact that it was my purpose. And because I'm so familiar with how this works, and I see this it repeats in everybody's life, because it's your purpose, it's also your greatest challenge. And it is about getting outside your comfort zone. I do deep level coaching with people on this for years of my life, countless charts. It's all the same story. Our comfort zone is what we've known, the south node. And so when we step into the unknown, this is where evolution happens. So my greatest challenge was to step into the unknown and say, this is non-negotiable. Either I keep denying it, putting it off, and I just continue being sad, and I have all this repressed goodness inside of me that knows it's there, and it needs to come out, but I'm not allowing it to, or I face my fears and I do it. And that's what I chose to do. So essentially, that's what we're all on the path to do, to overcome our fears and to follow the goals that we set for ourselves. If you know your purpose, once you know your purpose, there are going to be commitments, tests, challenges. And this is where your evolution happens. There is nothing more beautiful than to see someone living their purpose. That beauty comes from inside. It shines from inside. It exudes like a perfume, and it's intoxicating in the most beautiful ways. You become more charismatic. You become more alive. You become more influential. You make more connections. So when you step into your purpose, when I stepped into my purpose, it was from night to day. The way the world responded to me was so different, entirely. From all those 31 years or 32 years up until that point that I had lived my life, until coming into astrology, it was a night to day shift. The world started to respond to me with sovereignty, with wonder, with receptivity, in a way that I had never experienced before. And this only gave me more confidence that this was my path. And I'm pretty sure that everybody experiences that when they're living their path, when they're living their purpose, and they get into that space of infinite power that they're generating from inside. It's unconditional. And the world comes to watch you become alive. Okay, so what advice do I have for people who want to awaken their purpose, right? People who are ready to awaken their purpose. My advice is to start somewhere. You definitely have to start. You have to look for it. You have to have that receptivity. So once you open up and you have the receptivity, I would say to look for support. Look for someone that you trust, because there are many different systems out there, and it's really fascinating once you see the same message displayed in all the systems. You really know there is no shadow of doubt. So find a system that you resonate with, someone that can help you navigate through this and start to refine what your process is. Now, once you start to have an idea of what your purpose is, the next advice I would give is commitment. Commitment. Because it's one thing to find your purpose, let's say, or find something that you want to do next. Now, it's another thing to follow through. It's another thing to have the necessary commitment and dedication to see results. So be open and receptive. Find a good system, a good teacher, a good mentor, and then take steps. Start somewhere, even if it's small steps. Take steps, because do you know what's going to encourage you to keep going? Results. So you got to take steps. You got to start somewhere. I tell my students all the time, you're never going to get anywhere with astrology if you don't practice. Practice with your friends, take steps. And when you see results, even if they're small, that's what's going to encourage you to keep going and take the next step. So don't give up. And my final advice on that is your purpose is always developing. So don't get discouraged. I feel like a lot of people get frustrated because when they understand more about their purpose, say through astrology, they don't have the whole plan from A to Z laid out in front of them. And most of them are left with, well, what's next? That feeling of, okay, well, what do I do now? Okay, I know I'm supposed to work with this, and now what? So the now what is going to depend on your level of focus, your level of dedication, and with time, you're going to build on that. What may start as an original intention may develop into something else. So be open. Know that your purpose is always going to be developing. It's always going to be expanding. And it should feel good. If it doesn't feel good, then go back within, ask some more questions, because when you're living your purpose, it should feel good.